أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمد عبده ورسوله اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا. Mufti Hussein said that the fuqaha, those the beautiful, the session's going and then all of a sudden someone comes in the middle. I think I'm feeling that shoe right now. MashaAllah, Mufti Hussein was speaking so well, if only he could continue. But I guess the schedule is the schedule. So I'm stuck with you, you're stuck with me, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran al-Kareem answering those people that had questioned why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or at their time why was a messenger made the messenger. Now why is this a particular messenger? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered. The Quran al-Kareem says, Allahu a'lamu haythu yaj'alu risalatah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He knows best where He and who He makes His Rasul. Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends His risalah to, who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes His messenger, who should be made the prophet. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I know best. That in itself tells a person, and if you look at it very closely, that there is a precursor, or there are certain conditions, so to say, that a Nabi should have, that a Nabi would have, that a Rasul messenger would have. That is on one hand. And on the other hand, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَكَانَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكَ عَظِيمًا. That indeed the grace, the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His mercy, His ni'mah upon you of nubuwah, that is a great mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This ayah shows that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do ta'yeed and nusra and assist of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So on the one hand, Allahu a'lamu haythu yaj'alu risalatah, that where a person has the capabilities, the abilities that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives a person, jibilli. And وَكَانَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكَ عَظِيمًا. After that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does ta'yeed and assists His messenger. Based on this, Abu Nu'aym al-Asbahani in his Dala'il al-Nubuwah, in the introduction to Dala'il al-Nubuwah, a scholar of the beginning of 5th century, passed away in 430, Abu Nu'aym al-Asbahani, he mentions that any Nabi that was sent, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would bestow that Nabi 4 gifts. Any Nabi that would be sent, anyone to become a messenger or prophet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would give 4 mawahib to that Nabi. The very first mawhab, or the very first hibah, the first gift that the Nabi would be given, this Abu Nu'aym calls what we translate as the natural virtue. He calls it fadilah naw'iyya. Those are in Arabic, fadilah naw'iyya. What does this mean? That he says that any Nabi that comes, he has to have certain prerequisites, as in, for example, sound mind, that a Nabi cannot be someone who is absurd, na'udhu billah. They come from a good lineage. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in one hadith, he has mentioned, it's narrated that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that from the time of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam till myself, to my birth, in my lineage there was no safah. No safah meaning there was no fornication. That there was only nikah in the lineage of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A Nabi can be married to a kafirah, but a Nabi will never be married, or a Nabi will, in his lineage will never have someone who does indecent acts. So this is a sifa, a quality that any Nabi comes with. And he puts under this the good character. Good character as a natural character, a Nabi, this is a prerequisite of a Nabi. The second he calls what we translate as fadila ikramiyah, that an honorary virtue, for example miracles. All Nabi that came, they came with miracles. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Quran al-Kareem for example itself is a miracle. The next is what he calls imdad bil hidayah, the assistance by guidance. So for example, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in his case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gave special guidance to the Nabi. The Nabi, if he is to guide the rest of the ummah, the rest of the people, then that Nabi obviously has to have special hidayah, special guidance from Rasulullah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for example, the incident of splitting of the chest of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now this incident took place 4 times in the life of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That once at the age of 4, when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was by Halima Sa'diyah, when he was there, he would be nursed. Before that, they would send their children for nursing. He would stay there. So by Halima Sa'diyah radiallahu anha, one day whilst he was playing with the rest of his foster brothers, they ran and they went and told Halima Sa'diyah that look, two people had come to Muhammad and they split his chest open and they took out his heart, etc., etc. So this was the first time when this incident had happened. What happened in that incident? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had sent two angels who came, they split the chest of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they took out the heart of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they also took out two blood clots. What did these two blood clots represent? That this was the what we would say maddah, the aspect of sinning. So from here we say that all Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam especially, and because we're speaking about the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that they are ma'soom, the infallible beings. So there is no even ability for a Nabi to sin and go against the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the heart was cleaned, and it comes in the hadith in the same narration that there was ice that was used. From here, ulama also take out different points, and those that want, they can go check Seerah al-Mustafa of Maulana Idris Kandhlawi, that the ta'thir, the effect of sin, how it's hot, what's the heat in the ta'thir in the of sin, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the ice, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had cleaned the heart of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The second time this took place was at the age of 8. The third time this had took place was at the time when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was given the wahi. The first time the wahi came, then again the third time the heart of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was cleansed, and this was to receive wahi. The ability to receive wahi, for this the heart was cleansed. And the fourth time that we know that when Rasulullah ﷺ was going to be taken up to the Mi'raj, to be able to carry the weight and the anwar that would be given over there. The fourth is what he calls the tathqif al-zallah, the altering of any oversight. That a Rasul, the messenger, as we said, that any messenger, they are infallible, that they are ma'soom. However, at times, the Anbiya ﷺ, they would have to choose between different matters, and sometimes they wouldn't pick the better of the two. They wouldn't pick the better of the two goods. And it was never good and evil. It was that if two matters were good, then sometimes they would pick the lesser of the good. For this, the wahi would come down and correct the Nabi, that no, the other matter that was better that you should have picked. For example, at the time of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam one day decided to have a special gathering only for the Quraysh. Or the Quraysh, they had the mushrikun, some of the seniors, they said that, we want to have a specific gathering. Now in this gathering, we don't want to see any of the poor, these poor Sahaba that are with you, we don't want to see any of them there. It should be only specific to us. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam agreed. He agreed that, fine, if this is what it takes for them to accept, we'll go with that. I'll accept this condition. So now when they put this condition, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's about to address them, some of the poor Sahaba, they come to ask something about the deen. They come to ask something about the deen, that, is this permissible, impermissible, can we do it, can we not do it? So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam shoes them away. Right now I'm busy with them. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, now here he has to choose between two. Now these poor Sahaba that are coming, right, should he address them? Should he finish what they're asking? Should he address them? Or should he continue with the, if you want to call it, the big dogs of the Quraysh? Should he look at what they're saying and their conditions? So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his ijtihad, he thought, but look, these Sahaba, they've already accepted Islam. Right? If I don't address them right now, once I'm done here, I'll just go and tell them whatever. If I lose this opportunity, they may never accept Islam. So he's not picking between wrong and right. This is da'wah both sides. Both have to be given. Da'wah is being given towards these Quraysh also, and he would have also taught them about deen. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he picks that, let me address these Quraysh. So the ayat revealed abasa wa tawalla. No, Ya Rasul, O Rasul of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you should not have ignored these poor Sahaba. Their right comes first. Why? He said that those that come with desire, those that come with talab, with desire, they should be given first. They should be given first preference. That in your ijtihad is fine, that you wanted to also attract these Quraysh, but what was better is this. So this would be an example of altering of an oversight. Now our discussion in the Humanitarian, So Abu Nu'aym, he mentions these 4 things. Our discussion is only about one point over here, and that is the character of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the good character. That how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a humanitarian before prophethood. And this hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or the incident, one of the very first ahadith which have been narrated in Bukhari. Let us go back to the first day of when wahi is being revealed. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as the days of the wahi coming down to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam were coming closer, the hadith explained, and of Aisha radiallahu anha, that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he would like to stay alone. حُبِّبَ إِلَيْهِ الْخَلَى. So what he would do is that he would go and seek refuge in the Mount of Hira. He would go in the cave of Hira, he would go and seek refuge, he would stay there, ponder about the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who the creator is. He would, so to say, as we would say, that he would do some type of i'tikaf. He would stay away from the family, he would take his food with him. Now one day, whilst Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is in the Hira, it's a narration of Bukhari, that the Malak comes down, Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam comes down with the revelation saying that Iqra, that recite. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as we know in the famous hadith, thrice this happens, he says, Ma nabi qari, I cannot read, I cannot recite. Then Jibreel alayhi salam, he squeezes him, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam recites the first verses of Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. When this incident transpires, and once it finishes, then he rushes home towards Khadija radiallahu anha, the first wife of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ummul Mu'mineen. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam comes to her, he is scared, yani as a human would be scared, and he says that I don't know what will happen to me. Ulama mentioned that through this Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam understood the Prophet who is being given to him and what responsibilities are to come and what sacrifices will be needed. So he says that I am very scared. So Khadija radiallahu anha, and this is the point that we want to make, that look how she replies to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in giving him consolence. That what does she say? That never, that by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never disgrace you. Wallahi la yukhzika Allahu abada. Why will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not let you not disgrace you? There is no need for you to fear. For what reason? So she mentions a few things. One, that innaka latasilu rahim, that you join family relations. Someone who has this character, innaka latasilu rahim, that you have this quality, this sifa in you, such a person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never disgrace such a person. You carry the weak. وَتَحْمِلُ الْكَلَّ. Al-kal in Arabic means anyone who is a burden, anyone who can't fend for themselves, whether it's the yatama, whether it's the orphans, whether they are the widows, whether it's the poor people. Khadija radiallahu anha, she says, if you look at the wordings that she uses, إِنَّكَ لَتَحْمِلْ. Tahmil means to carry, literally carrying something. She doesn't say that you assist the poor. She doesn't say you assist the orphans. She doesn't say you assist the widows. She says you carry them. You make it your own problem. You make it your own burden. One is that you have a problem in your family. You have to carry that. But someone else's problem, تَحْمِلُ. You carry it. You make it your own burden. You spend on the poor. You serve your guests. You serve your guests generously and assist in every avenue of truth. That any avenue of truth, wherever there is good that can be found, you help in each of these avenues. So inshallah, we'll try to quickly go through some of these, if not all. So the first one, Khadija radiallahu anha, she says that إِنَّكَ لَتَصِلُ الرَّحِمْ, that you join family relations. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is the quality, the sifa that she points out of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam even before he becomes a Nabi. And this is what we want to drive home. That Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was a humanitarian before prophethood. That he already had these qualities. That these were the qualities which were looked upon for a Nabi to have. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allahu a'lamu haythu yaj'alu risalatah. So this ayah applies to Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he had these qualities which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives a person nubuwwah for. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after prophethood, what happens? That the humanitarian of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam becomes perfected. That he goes from good character to perfected character. So that is where the nubuwwah comes in. That now silatul rahim, now joining family relations, it's not only a matter of being a humanitarian, but now it's also as a Nabi. And if that's as a Nabi, so now as a responsibility of Iman. not just as a responsibility of being a human, but as a responsibility of iman and believing upon Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Silatul Rahim and joining family relations now becomes a responsibility. Now this is also, just as we understand salah to be a responsibility. Why? Because you believe. So now Silatul Rahim, joining family relations, becomes what? A necessity, a fard, something a person has to do. That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's narration, the first narration that we have there of Bukhari, that man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir falyasil rahimah, that whoever believes in Allah and the last day. I mean, you say you are a mu'min, you say you are a believer. So now, because by virtue of believing, by virtue of being a mu'min, now you should be joining family ties. The last hadith that we have there, the third one, how far did Rasulullah ﷺ take this? That technically, if you look at the word Silatul Rahim, Rahim means family relations, close family relations. But Qadi Iyad in his Shifa, he puts this incident also under Silatul Rahim. Why does he put this under joining family relations? To show how far did Rasulullah ﷺ take it. The Abu Tufail says, I saw the Messenger ﷺ when I was at a young age. A lady came close to him and he laid out her shawl for her. A lady comes, Abu Tufail sees this old lady is coming, Rasulullah ﷺ, he takes out his shawl, he lays it for her. She must be someone very special. So he asks the other Sahaba, the more senior Sahaba, that who is this lady? This lady that Rasulullah ﷺ, he goes out of his way, takes out his shawl, lays it down for her. So the Sahaba, they say that this is his mother who had nursed him. This is his mother who had nursed him. So this is the ikram that he showed for his mother who had nursed him. Now imagine how much ikram a person should show to his own mother, to his own parents. Carrying the weak, the Khadija radiallahu anha said that innaka latahmilul kal, that you carry the weak. The weak, as we had mentioned, that anyone who can't fend for themselves, anyone who cannot support themselves, they need people's support. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would carry the weak. So again, this becomes an objective, it becomes an obligation of a person's deen now. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, that I and the one who takes care of orphans will be like this in Jannah. And Rasulullah ﷺ puts up the index finger and the middle finger and say that we will be like this in Jannah. وَأَنَا وَكَافِلُ الْيَتِيمِ كَهَاتَيْنِ فِي الْجَنَّةِ. Ulama explain that the difference between the index finger and the middle finger is a very short one, and that's just of the daraja of nubuwah, the rank of nubuwah. That's the difference between the person and Rasulullah ﷺ. So this is, again, now the point why are we going through this, as in the previous session, that the seerah of Rasulullah ﷺ, that this was mentioned, that Rasulullah ﷺ used to do this even before prophethood. Now after prophethood, now this has become an obligation of a person's belief in Rasulullah ﷺ, and we should also make this our seerah. Right? What we learn from the seerah of Rasulullah ﷺ, how much emphasis he put on, for example, taking care of the orphans. This is just an example. Taking care of Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, he says that sometimes I remember the ash'ar, the poetry of Abu Talib, the uncle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَأَبْيَضُ يُسْتَسْقَى الْغَمَامُ بِوَجْهِهِ ثِمَارُ الْيَتَامَى عِصْمَةٌ لِلْأَرَامِلِ. He says that sometimes I remember the poetry of Abu Talib, that he used to look at the beautiful face of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, وَأَبْيَضُ يُسْتَسْقَى الْغَمَامُ بِوَجْهِهِ. The beautiful faced person that through his wasila the rain is sought from the skies. ثِمَالُ الْيَتَامَى عِصْمَةٌ لِلْأَرَامِلِ, that he is the only protection for the orphans, وَعِصْمَةٌ لِلْأَرَامِلِ, that even widows can take help from him. وَعِصْمَةٌ لِلْأَرَامِلِ. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this was one of his salient features, spending, generosity. And we'll join the next two slides together. We think we are out of time. Spending, generosity, and hospitality. Now these are things that go together. The Khadija radiallahu anha, she noticed, and the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. For example, the first hadith that we have, the Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu says that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the most generous of people, and even more so in Ramadan when Jibreel would meet him, that he would become more generous than the wind. Now what's the important part to take home over here is what? That this is Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, this is Khadija radiallahu anha, these are all Arabs, right? The Arabs, it was part of their fitrah. It was part of what they used to do, that they were very hospitable people. They were very generous people. So if an Arab takes notice that this person is very hospitable, this person is very generous, that means really that person is generous. Right? That's why in the second narration we say, we have the Anas who says that a man asked the Messenger ﷺ, so he gave him an entire flock. Right? He gave him an entire flock of sheep that was between the two jabal, between the two mountains. He goes back to his people and he says that, accept Islam, for verily this person doesn't fear poverty. What does this mean? That Rasulullah ﷺ, in his giving, there was an aspect that he wasn't giving because he's trying to play the role of someone else. And this is again for us to learn that many times when we're asked to donate, when we're asked to give, we try to play the role. Na'udhu billah, sometimes that if we donate, if we give, then someone else will have a better life. That if we give, because of me, changes can come in the world. This isn't the intention to give with. The intention, how Rasulullah ﷺ used to give, is that he would consider himself just to be a distributor. Right? Whatever is coming to me, this is amana, this is trust. I'm not doing anyone a favor by giving. What I have, if I'm giving it, it's not that I've done something now, I'll take your thank yous and I'll put it to my heart. No. I should be doing it. I am supposed to be doing it. Why? The wealth isn't mine. So that's what it means by he wouldn't fear poverty. Right? Because the Rasulullah ﷺ, he would feel whatever comes to me, it should be given back to the ummah. If this is a person's outlook, if this is our intention, then our intentions will also become correct. Hospitality, that whoever believes, again Rasulullah ﷺ said, "Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir falyukrim dayfa." And the last one, and we will end off with this, that Khadija radiallahu anha, she said that anytime any avenue of good would come about, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you help in it. And this is the last lesson for us to take home, especially in this time. That what we take from this is that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was proactive. That when any opportunity would come up, that he was opportunistic in this sense, that not in the sense of greed, but anytime an opportunity of good would come, that Rasulullah ﷺ would take part in it. And for this we will just mention one incident very quickly, that even before the Risala of Nabi Karim ﷺ, before he was the messenger, before the wahi came, there was an incident called the Hilful Fudul, that a person who was traveling, that he was waylaid, and when he was trying to get his money back, because this was done by some prominent people, no one was helping them. Some people of the community stood up and they said that, look, we will be the ones that help these poor people. Then their name, incidentally, they were all called Fadl, hence the plural of it, Fudul. So this was known as the Pact of Fudul. Rasulullah ﷺ, he said after the Risala came to Rasulullah ﷺ, after he's a Nabi, Rasulullah ﷺ says in a hadith that if